Xiao Linger courteously served them watermelons, while praising their diligent efforts. Long Outyen, taken aback, couldn't help but wonder if she was genuinely offering them the juicy fruit. With a reassuring smile, Xiao Linger advised them not to worry about minor details. Secretly, she grinned wickedly, confident that if Chen Pingan asked later, she could justify the situation by saying the experts had consumed the watermelons. Grateful, Long Outyen accepted the watermelons from Xiao Linger. Upon Xia Sui's arrival, he politely inquired if he could enter, but Xiao Linger promptly denied his request. Undeterred, Xia Sui implored her to show some compassion, and she eventually agreed to let him visit on a monthly basis. Phoenix interjected, questioning if Xia Sui hadn't heard Xiao Linger's initial refusal, but the little fish informed him that Chen Pingan was currently away from home. Curious, Shimin Chen and Jin Danting pondered over the identity of the mysterious guest and the reason behind his bold intrusion into Chen Pingan's home. Bai Gufeng admitted that even with his superior cultivation, he was clueless about the stranger's identity. Long Outyen finally revealed that the guest was none other than the Immortal Emperor, a revelation that Bai Gufeng acknowledged with surprise. The three experts were understandably shocked by this information. Cordial, Long Outyen greeted Xia Sui, who in turn asked about Long Outyen's purpose at Chen Pingan's residence. Long Outyen introduced the others as Chen Pingan's pawns and explained that they were searching for their missing comrade. As time passed, they exchanged information to bring Xia Sui up to speed on the situation. Upon reviewing the details, Xia Sui deduced that the massacre had likely been carried out by an evil sect from the Immortal Realm. He shared that he was also investigating the matter, but so far, had uncovered no leads. Sensing someone approaching, he invited the group to accompany him to investigate further. The Blood General arrived at the Warrior Kingdom, murmuring that the first missing immortal had been in this location and that other immortals should have detected her presence. She spotted Long Outyen and the others enjoying their watermelons. Long Outyen commented on the fruit's sweetness, as Bai Gufeng and Jin Danting moved forward. Suddenly, Xia Sui appeared beside the Blood General and casually inquired if she was searching for him. Caught off guard, the Blood General realized the Immortal Emperor was standing before her. The Immortal Emperor forcefully choked her, threatening that if she didn't reveal everything she knew, he would destroy her immortal base and subject her to 1,000 years of torture. Desperately struggling, the Blood General couldn't comprehend why the Immortal Emperor was in the mortal world, and she thought that even the Blood Monarch's presence wouldn't necessitate such a direct intervention. Resorting to an escape technique, she attempted to flee the Immortal Emperor. Xia Sui calmly muttered that she couldn't possibly evade him. As a portal opened, the Blood General emerged, resigning herself to the fact that there was no escaping the Immortal Emperor. In a desperate act, she cast a spell designed to annihilate everything within a 100-mile radius, including herself. Feeling upset, Xia Sui humbly informed the Blood General that her skills were insignificant compared to his. He came to the realization that he could not use his power. The Blood General, grinning, understood that even if the Immortal Emperor had appeared in the human world, he would still have a concern, one that she hadn't anticipated would involve mortals. Xia Sui found himself perplexed, uncertain of whether to take action or remain still. Subsequently, Long Outyen whispered to Xia Sui, urging him not to hesitate before eliminating the Blood General, for if he failed to do so, more mortals would suffer in the future. He reassured Long Outyen that saving mortals wouldn't pose a problem and mentioned that among the hostages she had taken was Chen Pingan. Chen Pingan, equally perplexed, questioned his companions as to why they were all standing motionless. When Lu Shui sensed the terrifying pressure and murderous intent, he deduced that it must be another immortal, as the energy was the same as that emitted by the immortal sword. Pan Hang, realizing he was unable to speak or move, wondered if it was due to fear or some form of suppression. Nevertheless, he felt compelled to rescue Tian Shanshan, even if the odds were slim. Pan Hang was taken aback when Chen Pingan advanced, curious about his intentions. Although he didn't particularly like Chen Pingan, he couldn't help but worry about him confronting the Blood General and potentially getting killed. Anxiously, the dog inquired of the Bronze Sword what they should do. Bronze Sword contemplated that even if the individual's strength was inferior to his own, if he couldn't reveal himself, engaging in a serious battle would prove highly dangerous. Upon noticing Chen Pingan approaching her, the Blood General questioned why he wasn't affected by her chi, despite being in the initial stage of Dantian formation. Chen Pingan initiated a conversation with the Blood General, asking if there was anything he could assist her with. Taken aback, the Blood General informed him that he was her hostage and expressed her bewilderment about his actions. Sighing, Chen Pingan mentioned that if she ever encountered bandits or something similar, he wouldn't be surprised, given the worsening state of the world, and he hadn't expected things like forcibly abducting civilian girls to still occur. Confused, the Blood General wondered what Chen Pingan was talking about. Perceiving him as peculiar, she decided to start by attacking him. As the Blood General launched a powerful strike at Chen Pingan, the ground cracked beneath them. Chen Pingan merely smiled, leaving the Blood General perplexed and astonished that she couldn't penetrate his defenses. Gently, Chen Pingan grasped the Blood General's hands, reassuring her not to be afraid. He then handed her spirit stones, promising her safety as long as she encountered them. He informed her that the individuals behind him were incredibly powerful. The Blood General felt a flutter in her heart, realizing that Chen Pingan treated her like an ordinary girl, something she hadn't experienced in 1,000 years. He even gifted her spirit stones. Chen Pingan advised her to return home. As the Blood General crushed the spirit stones in her hand, she decided she wanted to uncover the secrets Chen Pingan possessed. However, she found herself immobilized when she attempted to attack him. Suspecting a spatial blockade, she came to the realization that not even the immortal emperor could have obstructed space in such a manner, and she wondered who was responsible. Finally, Boss Duan informed the Blood General that she was not yet worthy of laying a finger on Chen Pingan. As the blue circle attacked the Blood General, she let out a piercing scream. Once the space blockage disappeared, Chen Pingan quickly noticed that the Blood General was nowhere to be found. Concerned, Tian Shanshan inquired if Chen Pingan was all right. Chen Pingan reassured her that he was fine, but expressed curiosity about the recent events. Fei Shang proceeded to explain the entire situation to Chen Pingan. Shocked, Chen Pingan learned that they had been overpowered by the Blood General's pressure and immobilized, and that the Blood General had actually tried to kill him. Bewildered, Pan Hang asked if Chen Pingan had managed to handle the situation. Chen Pingan speculated that his lack of a spiritual root to sense the enemy's power might be the reason he didn't suffer from the pressure, but he wondered how he could possibly fight such a formidable foe. He insisted that he was too weak to have attacked the Blood General and suggested that they ask Lu Shuai if they didn't believe him. Lu Shuai agreed with Chen Pingan, who felt that even Lu Shuai didn't fully believe him. Tian Shanshan sighed, expressing her hope that they would never face such a dangerous situation again. She acknowledged that everyone's mood had been dampened, so they wouldn't be continuing their training that day. Tian Shanshan surmised that a hidden expert might have come to their rescue. Disappointed, Chen Pingan mumbled that he hadn't practiced enough. In response, Lu Shuai offered to make it up to him with some leisurely strolling. However, Lu Shuai soon received emergency news from his home. Meanwhile, Long Outyen suggested that a powerful force was at play and expressed disappointment that he hadn't seen Chen Pingan fight, as he believed that the Black Flood Dragon and the immortal weapon had secretly demonstrated their power. Xia Sui argued that just moments ago, the force of heaven and earth could have easily penetrated the entire continent, and it was most likely not the work of the Black Dragon and the immortal weapon. He assumed that it must be someone he knew. Grandpa Morong pondered if Chen Pingan was actually in the northern region. Zhen Danding replied that he believed Chen Pingan might have taken a liking to someone in those few knots and wanted to support them. Shimin Chen informed the group that when Chen Pingan visited his general association a few days earlier, he was accompanied by a second-rank array mage named Lu Shuai. Upon hearing this, the experts all simultaneously said Lu Shuai's name. At Lu's mansion, the Grand Elder advised Lu Qi not to force the issue, as they were family. He told Lu Qi that his strength was greater than his and that as long as he relinquished his position as patriarch, he would not make things difficult for him, and the family would be stronger than it was now. Lu Qi responded that the position had been bestowed upon him by his father on his deathbed, and he couldn't simply hand it over. When the Grand Elder realized that Lu Qi wouldn't accept his offer, he attacked him, knocking Lu Qi to the ground. He demanded to know if Lu Qi would relinquish his position or not. Defiantly, Lu Qi stated that there was no way he would give up his position to the Grand Elder. Just as the Grand Elder was about to strike him, Lu Shuai intervened, preventing the punch from landing on his father. Surprised, Lu Qi questioned why Lu Shuai had returned. Lu Shuai explained that he couldn't ignore such a critical situation. He confronted the Grand Elder, accusing him of trying to rebel and warning that if he wanted to kill Lu Qi, he would have to get through him first. The Grand Elder dismissed the notion, saying he had assumed someone more significant had arrived, but it turned out to be just Lu Shuai. He told Lu Shuai that his strength alone wouldn't be enough to stop him and prepared to punch him. At that moment, the experts arrived, introduced themselves, and mentioned that they had come for a visit. The Grand Elder was puzzled as to why these prominent figures had suddenly shown up, thinking there was no way the Lu family could be connected to them. Lu Qi scolded Lu Shuai for not listening to him and for continuing to work at the stall, wondering if Lu Shuai had offended anyone. Lu Shuai denied having offended anyone. The Grand Elder smirked, thinking that he could now justify his forced takeover of the patriarch position since he had been concerned that some family members might not be convinced. Bai Gufeng inquired about the location of the Lu family head. Long Outyin questioned why Bai Gufeng was in such a hurry. Bai Gufeng reasoned that he should take this opportunity to please Chen Pingan before Long Outyin could seize it. The Grand Elder welcomed the visitors and introduced himself as the Lu family's Grand Elder. Bai Gufeng punched the Grand Elder, telling him that if he wasn't the patriarch, he should step aside because they were in a hurry. Long Outyin inquired as to why Bai Gufeng was in such a hurry, informing him that they had merely come to visit and had no intention of attacking anyone upon arrival. Bai Gufeng agreed, conceding that he had been merely impulsive. He grasped the Grand Elder's hand, admitting that he had been in haste and hadn't paid attention to his surroundings, offering an apology. The Grand Elder assured Bai Gufeng that everything was fine as long as he was content. Shimenchen initiated a conversation with Lu Shuai, inquiring if the man beside him was his father, the leader of the Lu family. Shin Danton questioned Lu Qi about who had assaulted him. The Grand Elder admitted that he was the one who had beaten Lu Qi, explaining that Lu Qi had offended his seniors and deserved punishment. Bai Gufeng grabbed the Grand Elder, asking if he had injured him. The Grand Elder confirmed this with a trembling voice. Without hesitation, Bai Gufeng hurled the Grand Elder into the air and instructed him to leave. He sighed, lamenting that it was all due to misfortune. Lu Shuai greeted the gathered experts. Long Outyin responded that there was no need for formalities, mentioning that Chen Pingan was interested in cultivating Lu Shuai and that they were merely carrying out Chen Pingan's wishes by visiting him. Long Outyin retrieved a ring from his attire and informed Lu Shuai that it was a gift, consisting of half the assets of his Tianzuan Tower branch. Bai Gufeng followed suit, presenting Lu Shuai with a ring as a congratulatory gift, containing half of the treasure hall's assets. Shimenchen offered Lu Shuai a ring encompassing half of the assets of the Alchemist Guild headquarters. Frustrated, Shindanting felt they were belittling him for not opening more branches, so he took a ring from Shushan Immortal Academy and gifted it to Lu Shuai. Feeling overwhelmed, Lu Shuai told the experts that he could not accept their generous gifts. Long Outyin held Lu Shuai's hand, insisting that he accept the gifts, as it was all for the sake of Chen Pingan, and wishing him a prosperous future. Lu Qi thought that the combined assets the experts had given to Lu Shuai were worth more than an entire kingdom. He questioned Lu Shuai about whether the senior the experts were referring to had visited his store. Lu Shuai informed Lu Qi that he hadn't anticipated meeting such an influential person and revealed that he would not open the store. Lu Qi's smile widened, encouraging Lu Shuai not to close it, but to strive for success and expand by opening more branches. Meanwhile, Chen Pingan grumbled about becoming wealthy, never expecting to find so many treasures while roaming the mountains. He chuckled, reflecting on how the treasures he discovered were lost by cultivators from various paths, and mused that such treasure hunting was more profitable than chopping wood and collecting herbs in the mountains. As Chen Pingan heard something and turned around, Yang Ming, the prince of the warrior kingdom, wondered why an astral demonic beast was present. He assumed they would all be massacred by the beast and hoped for a miracle that could save them. Observing Chen Pingan running towards the beasts, Yang Ming realized he was only at the first stage of Dantian formation and presumed he had come to provide an extra meal for the beast. Astonishingly, everyone was baffled when the beast let out a scream of shock. The dog emitted a fearful aura, causing the demonic beast to emit a piercing scream. Chen Pingan urgently instructed the fleeing beast to halt, and surprisingly, it obeyed. This left Chen Pingan utterly bewildered. Meanwhile, Yang Ming hypothesized that Chen Pingan had inadvertently frightened the monster. He couldn't fathom how he could have stopped the beast, considering he was only in the first stage of the Dantian realm. Intrigued, Chen Pingan commanded the beast to sit, and it promptly complied. Yang Ming was utterly perplexed, wondering how Chen Pingan had managed this feat and speculating whether the creature's species had somehow transformed into that of a dog. Chen Pingan quietly questioned if the beast had indeed been subdued. Reflecting on the creature's apparent weakness, he yearned for an encounter with a monster similar to the bear from a previous experience, one that would allow him to execute more complex maneuvers. Curious, Chen Pingan inquired if the beast was afraid of him, prompting the creature's eyes to widen in terror. Upon inspecting the dog, the beast realized it was indeed terrified. Chen Pingan expressed his confusion, suspecting that his chi bug was responsible for the creature's fear. He reasoned that although the bug was ineffective on humans, it must have worked on monsters. Grateful, Yang Ming thanked Chen Pingan for rescuing them, to which he humbly responded that their safety was all that mattered. Seeking clarification, Yang Ming questioned Chen Pingan's cultivation level, suspecting that his strength must exceed the origin realm to have so effortlessly suppressed an astral realm monster. He doubted Chen Pingan's claim that his body emitted Dantian realm chi. Chen Pingan assured him that his cultivation was as it appeared and urged him not to worry. He suggested that Yang Ming appeared healthier than his companions for some particular reason. Taking the hint, Yang Ming solemnly promised not to bother Chen Pingan further and prepared to leave. Chen Pingan advised them to exercise caution and remain safe during their journey. As they walked, one of the prince's men remarked that even Yang Ming couldn't discern Chen Pingan's cultivation level. Yang Ming admitted his uncertainty, surmising that it was far beyond the astral realm, to the extent that they would be incapable of comprehending it. He instructed his men to stop discussing the matter, as Chen Pingan had requested they not worry about it. Yang Ming emphasized that if they couldn't understand what Chen Pingan had accomplished, the world was as limited as a small field to them. He contemplated the significance of Chen Pingan's presence in the kingdom, resolving to report the matter to his father at the earliest opportunity. In the meantime, Chen Pingan pondered his next move. Given the influence of his chi bug, he doubted he would find any monsters to practice his skills on. He instructed the tamed demonic beast to guide him to another monster, and together, they ventured into the mountains. Upon encountering a gorilla, Chen Pingan prepared to employ a specific technique. However, before he could do so, the gorilla knelt in submission, effectively expanding the size of the team. An immense cloud of smoke billowed through the forest just an hour later. Consequently, a group of people received instructions to remain on high alert. One man, curious about the cause of the uproar, posed a question regarding its origin. Long Outyen and the other seniors accompanying him were met by the head of the beast management, who expressed gratitude for their help in intercepting the beast tide. Long Outyen clarified to the beast management head that their presence was due to other reasons, and they sought to discuss the situation with him. Shimen-chen recalled the last beast tide he had witnessed decades earlier, which was triggered by someone who hunted and killed the young cub of a Mahayana peak monster. In response, the monster led thousands of other beasts across the land, devastating half of the entire kingdom. The head informed the group that the tide was heading towards the kingdom, and that a staggering 10,000 monsters were being controlled by someone. The experts were taken aback upon hearing the sheer number of creatures involved. Bai Gufeng speculated that it was an attack on the kingdom and wondered who could possibly command such a vast horde of monsters, and if the perpetrator was immortal. Long Outyen noted that Xia Sui had left peacefully, indicating the lack of troublesome immortals in the mortal realm. Nevertheless, he expressed curiosity about the source of the ongoing disturbances and his duty to safeguard the city's residents. Suddenly, someone shouted that the tide was approaching. Both Long Outyen and Bai Gufeng's eyes widened in shock. Long Outyen muttered that he was no longer surprised, and it seemed as though it didn't matter anymore. Bai Gufeng mused that it wasn't surprising, deeming it somewhat normal. Shimen-chen added that he had witnessed such occurrences before. The management head, taken aback, reminded them that they had just declared they wouldn't abandon thousands of people and now appeared to have given up. Long Outyen revealed that they had indeed given up, and that the only individual who could control the tide was Chen Pingan. Chen Pingan was bewildered by the large gathering before him. He paused and informed Long Outyen that encountering him in the area was merely a coincidence. The head of the beast management, still confused, doubted that Chen Pingan was the one controlling the tide. He mentioned that as the head of the department, he too had some proficiency in controlling monsters, but had never witnessed it on such a grand scale. He then noticed the dog and was astonished by the dragon breath emanating from the creature. Long Outyen explained to Chen Pingan that they had assumed it was a beast tide attack they needed to prepare for, and perhaps they had overthought the situation. Chen Pingan responded that he had summoned the beasts for a specific purpose, and assured Long Outyen there was no danger. He then ordered the monster to depart, which it promptly did, tearing through the trees and startling Chen Pingan. Chen Pingan nervously warned the people behind him that his actions were quite perilous and should not be replicated in the future. The head of the management wondered who could possibly imitate what he had done. Sometime later, Chen Pingan returned to his home, mumbling that he hadn't realized the tide was so severe and that he needed to go to Feishan the following day to discuss the matter of the tournament. As he announced his arrival to the household, he was greeted by Boss Duan.